Well, we are going to start our simple IELTS lesson, which is very useful for you for your IELTS exam. Especially this lesson will be very useful for IELTS beginners. Today we are going to talk about relative pronouns. As we know, there are only a few relative pronouns in the English language. Some of those relative pronouns have been given here. Who, that, which, whose, whom are some of those relative pronouns. Today we are not going to talk about all these relative pronouns. I'm just going to talk some examples using the relative pronoun who. What is a relative pronoun? We can use a relative pronoun to give more information about the subject. Instead of the subject, we can use a relative pronoun, especially the word who. When we talk about the relative pronoun who can be used instead of the subject. Look at this example given here. I like the people who work hard. Here, who work hard is the relative clause. The word who is the relative pronoun, and who work hard is the relative clause. The word who has been used instead of the subject, the people. Instead of using the people, we have used the word who. Who work hard is the relative clause here. I like the people who work hard. I like that kind of people. Which kind of people? People who work hard. We have given more information about the people by using the relative pronoun who. Look at this example. We cannot find people who believe this. In this sentence, the word who is the relative pronoun. We have used the relative pronoun who instead of the subject. What is the subject there? People. Who believe this? To describe the word people, we have used a relative clause here. Who believe this is the relative clause here. By using this relative clause, we describe the word people. Which people? People who believe this. We usually use a relative pronoun to give more information about a noun. Not only about a noun, here in this case, we have given more information about the noun people. We have described the word people by using this relative clause. We cannot find people who believe this. Next example. There are some people who don't know anything about this. Here, in this sentence, the relative pronoun is who. Who don't know anything about this is the relative clause. This is the relative clause. There are two clauses in this sentence. First one is there are some people. Second clause is who don't know anything about this. The word who has been used instead of the word people. The word who represents the people. However, there are two clauses here. First clause is there are some people, we call it the main clause. And the second clause here is who don't know anything about this. The second clause starts with the word who. Who don't know anything about this. The word who has been used instead of the word people. However, we use a relative pronoun to give more information about a noun, subject, or pronoun. Let's take one more example. There are some people who are trying to understand the reality of this world. There are some people who are trying to understand. There are two clauses here. What is a clause? A clause is a part of a sentence. A clause is a group of words. A clause is a group of words having its own subject and a verb. We can simply say a clause is a group of words. Now there are two clauses in this complex sentence. What is the first clause here? There are some people. And the second one is who are trying to understand the reality of this world. The second clause starts with the word who. That is the relative pronoun. Who are trying to understand the reality of this world is the relative clause here. We have used the relative pronoun who instead of the word people. We always use the relative pronoun who to describe people, not about the things. To describe things, we usually use the relative pronoun which or that. But the relative pronoun that can be used instead of who. Who and that are interchangeable. Who and that are interchangeable. You can use the word that as a relative pronoun instead of who. Therefore, you can say the same idea by using the relative pronoun that. There are some people that are trying to understand the reality of this world. There are some people that are trying to understand. What is the relative pronoun here? Here in this sentence, the relative pronoun is that. Instead of who, we can use the relative pronoun that. Now look at this example here. There are some people who don't believe in religions. We can give more information about a noun by using a relative pronoun. We use the relative pronoun who to represent the noun. We use a relative pronoun to represent a noun, pronoun or subject. Now today we are talking about the relative pronoun who. There are some people, that is the main clause here, and the relative clause is who don't believe in religions. The relative clause starts with the relative pronoun. In this sentence, the relative pronoun is who. Next example, she is the girl who came yesterday. There are two clauses here. There are two clauses here. What is the main clause? She is the girl. She is the girl. And the relative clause is who came yesterday. By using the relative clause, we give more information about the main clause. We give more information about the girl. She is the girl who came yesterday. Next example, she is the girl who blamed me. There are two clauses here. The main clause is she is the girl, and the relative clause is who blamed me. By using the relative clause, we give more information about the girl. We can give more information about the main clause by using the relative clause. In the relative clause, we use the relative pronoun who instead of the noun the girl. The word who, the relative pronoun who, represents the noun the girl. Instead of the girl, we have used who in the second clause here. There are two clauses. First clause is she is the girl. Second clause is who blamed me. We call it the relative clause. We use the relative clause to give more information about the main clause. Next example, you are the only girl who loved me. How many clauses are there in this sentence? There are two clauses. The main clause is you are the only girl, and the relative clause is who loved me, and the relative pronoun is who. If you want, you can use that. Instead of who, you can use that. You are the only girl that loved me. Here in this sentence, the relative clause is that loved me. We give more information about the girl by using the relative clause. So I hope you gained something out of this simple lesson. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. If you need to join my classes, you can call on 076 760 9005. The number given on the screen. Wish you all the best.